The Galactic Council had made their decision centuries ago. Humanity was too dangerous, too unpredictable, too volatile to be trusted among the civilized species of the galaxy. Earth was quarantined, blockaded by an invisible web of surveillance satellites and automated defense platforms. No human ship could leave. No alien vessel would dare approach. The humans were left to their own devices, forgotten in their little corner of space. A cautionary tale whispered in the grand halls of 1,000 worlds. But the Council had made a fatal mistake. They had given humanity something far more dangerous than freedom: time, isolation, and a burning need to prove themselves. Mia stood on the observation deck of the Prometheus, her reflection ghosting across the transparent aluminum viewport. Beyond it, the swirling nebula of Kepler 442 painted space in shades of crimson and gold. Her dark eyes traced the distant silhouettes of the Council's newest crisis: the Zethor swarm, an extra-dimensional plague that consumed matter itself, turning entire star systems into lifeless voids. Beautiful, isn't it? Max's voice cut through her thoughts. He approached with 2 cups of recycled coffee, the bitter aroma a luxury even after all these years. Beautiful and deadly, Mia replied, accepting the cup. Just like everything else out here. Max leaned against the viewport, his weathered face breaking into a wry smile. The Council's envoy should be arriving any minute now. 300 years of silence, and suddenly they remember we exist. Only because they're desperate. Mia's voice carried an edge sharp enough to cut steel. The Zethor have consumed 12 systems in 6 months. The vaunted Council fleets can't even slow them down. As if summoned by her words, a shimmering portal opened in the space before them. A sleek vessel emerged, its hull inscribed with the 7-pointed star of the Galactic Council. Mia and Max exchanged knowing glances. The irony was delicious. Ambassador Velnoth was a Castellian, his crystalline form refracting light in patterns that betrayed his emotional state. Right now, those patterns screamed discomfort and barely concealed disgust. He stood in the Prometheus's briefing room surrounded by humans, the very species his people had voted to isolate. "We acknowledge," Velnoth began, each word seemingly painful, "that the quarantine may have been premature." "Premature?" Mia leaned forward, her fingers steepled. "Ambassador, your people declared us a threat to galactic stability. You imprisoned an entire species for 3 centuries, and now you want our help?" "The Zethor do not discriminate, Commander Mia." Velnoth's form flickered orange, anxiety. "They will consume your world just as readily as ours. This benefits everyone." Max pulled up a holographic display. "Let me show you something, Ambassador." The projection displayed Earth's solar system, but it was transformed beyond recognition. Massive ring structures encircled the sun. Asteroid belts had been reorganized into precise geometric patterns. Jupiter and Saturn were surrounded by networks of stations and shipyards that put Council facilities to shame. 300 years, Max said softly. "You gave us 300 years to think, to build, to innovate without your interference or your regulations. We didn't waste a single day." Velnoth's crystalline form shifted through several colors before settling on a shocked violet. "This is impossible. Our surveillance showed primitive expansion at best." Mia smiled, and it wasn't friendly. "Your surveillance saw what we wanted you to see. Did you really think we wouldn't figure out how to spoof your sensors? We're humans, Ambassador. Deception is practically our second language." The Prometheus led a fleet of 50 vessels toward the Zethor front. They were unlike any ships the galaxy had seen. Angular, aggressive, built not for elegance but for brutal efficiency. Each one was a testament to human ingenuity born from isolation and spite. Mia stood on the bridge, watching the tactical display. The Zethor manifested as a spreading darkness, reality itself seeming to fray at their touch. Council fleets retreated in disarray, their energy weapons dissipating harmlessly against the swarm's exotic physics. "Reading massive spatial distortions ahead," reported the sensor officer. "The Zethor are beginning their consumption phase on the Draken colony." "Max's status?" Mia asked. Max hunched over the weapons console, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. "Quantum disruptors charged. Probability anchors online. We're ready to introduce our new friends to the concept of impossible." The human fleet didn't slow down. They accelerated directly into the swarm. The Zethor responded instantly, tendrils of unreality reaching out to unmake the human ships at the molecular level. But as those tendrils touched the Prometheus's hull, they simply stopped. The ship's probability anchors, devices that forced reality to behave, according to human-defined parameters, created a bubble of absolute physics that the Zethor couldn't penetrate. Fire, Mia commanded. The quantum disruptors unleashed hell. They didn't fire energy or matter. They fired causality itself, weaponized paradoxes that forced the Zethor to choose between existing and not existing. The extra-dimensional entities recoiled, their assault faltering for the first time since their arrival. Across the fleet, similar weapons activated. Humanity had spent 3 centuries studying theoretical physics not for exploration, but for warfare. They had turned the universe's fundamental laws into weapons, shields, and tools that bent reality to their will. The Zethor swarm began to collapse, pulled into containment fields that shouldn't have been possible, but were, because humans had decided they were. Velnoth watched the battle from the Council observation ship, his crystalline form cycling through colors too rapidly to name. The Zethor, unstoppable for months, were being systematically dismantled by the species the Council had dismissed as dangerous primitives. How? He whispered to himself. But Mia, listening on an open channel, heard him. You want to know our secret, Ambassador? You gave us 300 years alone. 300 years to be angry, to be afraid, to be desperate. You know what happens when you corner humans? When you tell them they're not good enough, not advanced enough, too dangerous to join your little club? She paused, watching as the last Zethor entity collapsed into nothingness. We don't just get better. We become what you feared we'd be. And worse, we become necessary. Max appeared beside her, a satisfied grin on his face. Swarm neutralized. Draken colony saved. I'm sending our bill to the Council now. 300 years of back pay for Galactic Defense Services should about cover it. Mia laughed, sharp and triumphant. Welcome back to the galaxy, humanity. They're going to wish they'd left us alone. Outside, 50 human warships turned toward Council space, and the galaxy held its breath. The end.